Good morning, class 3. How are you all? Okay, so today, this week, in fact, this week we'll be doing comprehensions. And what are we going to do in comprehensions? Ma'am is going to read out for all of you a beautiful passage. Okay? And ma'am is going to explain you. Fine. And based on that passage, there will be few questions related to that passage. Now, we just have to find out the answers from that passage. Okay? So, all the best. Okay? And we'll be starting with our first comprehension. Listen to Pushpanjali ma'am carefully. Okay? Now, all living things need water to remain alive. There are only a few plants and animals in deserts which have got a special ability. Now see children, all of us, because we are human beings, we are living things, we need water to remain alive. Water is the major requirement for ours. Yes, requirement of ours. Only very few plants and animals are there in the desert area which have some special ability. Okay, and what's that? Let's find out. They require less water than most plants and animals. We all know that plants, they also require water. Animals also require water to drink, otherwise they will die. If you don't water a plant for a long time, it will die. But there are few plants bitter and few animals also in the desert area which don't require water or which require less amount of water. The camel is popularly known as the ship of the desert. We all know this now. Who is called the ship of the desert? That is the camel. It can drink a lot of water at one time. Camels can do without water for days together. Yes, and that's why it is called the ship of the desert, because camels, they can drink a lot of water in one time. At one time they can drink lot of water and they can remain without drinking the water for many days, and that's why they are able, this special ability in camels, it is because of this quality that they are used to cross the desert area, and that's why it is called the ship of the desert. Fine. Camels can do without water for days together. The reason is they sweat very little. We sweat because we must keep our body temperature constant. We sweat when it gets hot, and this cools the body. Simple. See, in this season we rarely sweat. We don't sweat. But as and when the summer season gets in, we'll start sweating. Why do we sweat? Because of the temperature, because of the heat. Our body temperature also rises, and when we sweat, it cools down the body. Okay, camels can stand a high body temperature. They don't need to sweat, therefore they can retain the water they drink for long periods of time. So for a longer time they can retain the water within themselves because they sweat very little. Okay, so now beta, in this passage, this is the comprehension part which I have explained to you, and there are few questions which are related to it. Okay, we'll be doing these questions in our online class. Okay, now the first question says, what do all living things need most to live? What do we need most to live? Water. Water to remain alive. It is written in the first sentence, so we are going to write it down accordingly. The second question is, what is the camel usually called? We all know it is called the ship of the desert. Yes. Why do human beings sweat? Why do we sweat? We sweat because we sweat to keep our body temperature constant. Because when the temperature rises, even our body temperature rises, and sweating cools down the temperature. That's why we sweat. Why can camels do without water for many days? This is the fourth question. Now, why can camels do that? Because they sweat very little. They can retain the water in their bodies for a long period of time. That's why. Okay, dear children. So this was the comprehension that I wanted to discuss with you. The questions and the related answers are mentioned in the assignment section. Okay, bye.